Welcome to I'd Play That for $1, the internet's premier budget gaming podcast powered by the World 1-1 Podcast Network. I am, as always, your host, Larry the Bearded Wonder. Joining me this week here in the Dollar Store is my lovely wife, Zoe Giver.
Hi.
And my home slice, Mick Homieson, is Josh the LeGroux.
Hello.
And every week, we get together and we give our rapid-fire roundtable reviews of games that we got our grubby little mitts on for $1 or less. But before we jump in, a quick update. We had a visit to the Dollar Store this week, off air. Got a chance to chat with Chris a little bit, and he passes on his well wishes and says he's looking forward to getting to come back and join us and hang out again. And so just wanted to share, he misses us and we miss him. And I'm sure you guys miss Chris as well as Todd, who I just shot out a message to be like, hey, I miss your face. So with all that said, let's dig in. This week, let's kick it off with Josh. What you got?
All right. So I have a game that I picked up on the cheap, and it's 14 years old.
We love games on the cheap here.
Yes, I know. I love games on the cheap all the time, but this is not a new game. So this is an Xbox 360. I believe it's honestly in the launch window. It is Dark Sector. I don't know. Have you played that one, Larry?
It missed launch window, but it wasn't far behind. I actually played I remember this, and I remember the original trailers for this.
Yes.
Ended up having nothing to do with the actual fucking game.
Yes. Because I watched the trailer. So if you're watching a video, which nobody is, but here's the video. Here is the physical version I picked up. Now, I just had my Xbox 360 going this week or the last couple weeks. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try some of these games that I bought in a lot, or I bought at garage sales. And I think this is a garage sale find. I bought like a whole bunch of games for like $20, and there was like 40 games in there. So basically, like I got like for 50 cents, but I know it's probably more. I honestly don't know if it's backwards compatible or not. I did not put it in my Xbox One or Xbox Series, so I don't.
Here, I'll check.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could right over there, but I'm not going to do it.
Pass it right through the internet, and I'll check that for you.
Right. I'm not doing that. But I mean, so I want to say that for the time, so you have to be like me. You have to understand. Like, I know, like a lot of people like retro games like are cool and all that. This is a retro game technically. It's 14 years old. It's right on that cusp. I consider retro like usually 15 years back, but this is 14 years. It is very interesting game. It has a lot of gore, a lot of blood. I like it. I don't know if I'm going to continue playing it though. So it's kind of one of those games where the weapon you use, it's like a first-person game, but the weapon you use is almost like, have you ever seen the movie Crawl in the Glaive? It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And you throw it, and you can just like eviscerate people with it. But you can also like, you can control it once you throw it. So it's very strange, but I like it. I'm not 100% if I'm going to continue playing it. I don't know if you guys got questions about it or not. It's just a weird game from back in the day. You know what I mean?
So I want to know if you found anything from the original trailer for that shit in the actual game, because I couldn't.
So far, no, but I honestly did not play. So here's the thing. I did pick it up. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember this game.
Mm-hmm.
But I never played it. So I'm like, I'm going to throw this in. I did watch the YouTube trailer, and I have not seen. The only thing I've seen that's similar in it is the way that they show, like, when you attack people. So they kind of show that off. I think that's what they were showing off in the trailer, because it was quote unquote different, because it wasn't a gun you were shooting. It was actually this bladed weapon that you had. It was kind of like a boomerang that you threw, So
I'm curious here. I got a couple questions. One, what's happening in the story here? Because I never dug into it enough to find out what the fuck was going on.
So from what I gather, because I did not play it very long so far, I put a good hour into it or so. There's a virus that has been released, right?
Okay.
And it's transforming people and things into different things. And you're like this, warrior that's sent out. But the virus is also from what I can gather, it's already like affected you as well.
Okay.
So, like, you've got powers because of it, basically. Like, you can control this thing. And so you're like a higher level of kind of being. That's kind of what I think. I'm not really sure
Interesting.
so far, but I almost honestly, the story kind of makes me want to continue playing it because I think the
Nice.
story would actually be kind of good, you know?
Okay.
Because
All right.
yeah, so that's that game for me.
So here's my other question.
Yes.
Did you ever play the little prologue prequel game that they made on the original DS? Or like on the DSi?
No. I didn't have a DS, believe it or not.
Okay. Lost Years?
Probably. No, the DS, well, the DS was on the, actually, not really my Lost Years, but it was right before the Lost Years, technically.
Okay.
And then, like, yeah, it kind of was during the Lost Years, too, actually. Because I remember seeing them at, like, the kiosks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For the DS and the 10 Dogs. I remember that.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember. I remember looking at it going, oh, this is cool. Something I'll never be able to afford, you know?
Right. But yeah, they did like a little prequel game that was a 2D side scroll pixel art thing on the DSi. It was actually a lot of fucking fun.
Okay.
Like honestly, the prequel game they did looked more interesting to me than the final product that actually came out on 360.
Sure. They did that a lot. Nintendo does that a lot. Or not Nintendo, I'm sorry. This like with 360 games, old 360 games, they did that a lot. Like there was a tie-in thing.
Mm-hmm.
It never like looked like better than it did on the preview or on another game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you mentioned Nintendogs. I'm gonna tell you funny retail story since we're here at the dollar store anyways. So way back in the day when Nintendogs, just came out, right?
Yeah.
I was working at the video game shop and we got the little cardboard stand up for Nintendogs,
Sure.
to put in the store.
Yeah.
And it had a little motion activated voice box of dogs barking. So when somebody walked by it, you'd hear the little puppies going yip 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 yip. The little. So bearing in mind, I worked at a Game Crazy, which was inside Hollywood Video, and we had the most uptight motherfucker that ran the Hollywood Video side. So we took the voice box out of the standee and hid it in his fucking office. So every time he walked in or out of the office, it tripped it, and he could never find it. It only stopped when the battery died.
Really?
Drove him ape shit for 6 fucking months.
That's awesome.
Oh, God, I miss retail pranks. So, final verdict. Play that for $1? Dark Sector?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would.
Story bare minimum's got you, it sounds like?
It's got me so far, yeah.
Nice. I wish they would do like a fire sale on the old Xbox 360 Live Arcade.
They should. I mean, they should do stuff on.
That's the kind of shit they need to do if they're going to shut down digital shops anyways. Big fucking fire sale.
Yeah, just
everything's like 19 cents.
Yep, I agree. Just, get something out of it and move on.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, Zoe, what you got this week?
Okay, so this game is rather simple, but it's very enjoyable. It's called Flappy Dragon, and it is called that because it essentially is Flappy Bird with a dragon.
Okay.
But you go through, just different areas, and you play and you collect different dragons. But when you go through each area, you're trying to get, points to collect the different dragons. But you get to, eat people. They give you points. And they give you, coins to use it to buy other dragons. So, there might be, a princess on top of a tower. And you go and you eat the princess. And then you get more points. Or there are certain tasks where you got to, eat certain people. And it was get, this many magicians or something. The only thing that sucks about that is they don't tell you, who's who.
Sure.
It says, okay, get the magician or the aristocrat. And I'm like, which one is that? They don't tell you what they look like. some of them you can kind of guess. Like the wizard's easy because like, they got a wizard hat and the whole like magical star thing, but like the other ones I'm like I have no idea who these people are. And then of course as you're flying, you get different abilities. Like I said, it's a really really simple game.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time killer. This one I got off of Google Play and it's a free game.
So,
Okay.
first question before we figure out if you play this for $1, and the most important question that I'm going to ask all night tonight: should LeGrew wear a wizard hat?
No.
Because I feel like this should happen.
Good
I
for
can
you.
see it. Blue with gold stars and comets and shit and big tall point.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm okay with you saying no, Zoe, by the way.
Josh, I'm
Okay.
going to run this past your wife. I feel like it needs a second opinion here.
Oh yeah, she'd say yeah, do that shit just to
Yeah.
do it. I know her.
Yeah. Somebody's on my side. So is there enough depth here to separate this from Flappy Bird, do you feel?
I don't know if I can actually make that call considering I never played Flappy Bird when it was a thing. I'm not even gonna lie, I did not play Flappy Bird. But
I mean, you just
Flappy
tap the
Bird was just,
screen and
yeah.
it just
Tap,
Yeah.
flapped its
tap,
wings.
tap.
So
yeah, I just don't know like what other things were in there as far as like abilities or what the game looked like. Like I remember
There
it had.
wasn't.
Okay, well then,
Right.
then I would say
It
yeah,
was
it's
literally
better.
it was
tap, tap,
literally just flapping its wings.
Yeah, no, then I like my game better because like you get this one and it's like, this raging fire thing. So then you just blow a bunch of fire and then it destroys all the towers so you can't run into them and then lose. Or like you get one, it'll slow you down so you have more time to like adjust your flight pattern. There are different abilities that do different things. So if Flappy Bird did not contain that, then I would say yes, this one definitely could differentiate itself from Flappy Bird fairly easily.
Okay.
Like I said, I enjoy it. It's just a really good time killer. It's not something like I would immerse myself in, honestly. But if I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to scroll anymore, hey, let me go play this game.
Right.
This is like the 3-minute time killer.
Yeah. Like, well, you're waiting in the doctor's office and ain't got nothing to do. Hey, look.
So Josh, I got one more question here, but you have anything you want to toss in before we come to the end of this?
No,
Flappy Dragon?
I think she answered my question I had. So
All right. So my last question on this, given that it is a mobile game, how egregious are the ads?
Not really. Like, you can watch an ad if you want to revive and not quit. Because they offer that option a lot, like every so often when you go to a new screen, it'll throw an ad at you, but it's really not that bad.
Okay. So end result here. Play that for $1 or beat Chad Kroger over the head.
I don't think I would pay $1 for it simply because it's just a time killer game. It's not worth my dollar. Not that it's a bad game. It's just a game I wouldn't pay for, and I'm happy that it's for free.
Okay.
So I don't want me saying that I wouldn't play it for $1, meaning it's a bad game. It's just
You wouldn't pay
why.
$1 for it. That's all we're
Yeah,
asking.
yeah. I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
Yeah.
why would I
I mean,
pay
that's
$1
fair.
for a time killer game? Like there are tons of free ones. Why would I go pay $1 for this one?
Cut the ads.
They're not egregious enough that I would want to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, we're 2 down, 1 to go, which means this week I have the Great Perhaps. And I feel like that's a response to any question that Zoe ever asked me.
It's
How do
great.
you feel about the Great Perhaps? So, Great Perhaps is side scroll pixel art, 2D, not quite platformer, but not quite full blown point and click adventure, but it's almost in that in betweenish feel. But the big hook here in the puzzle solving is the lantern that you find at the very beginning. Is the lantern you can turn on and shine like a flashlight, and it reveals things that have happened in the past, and you can charge up the lantern and light up the whole screen with it and essentially time travel to the past of where you're standing, but it will only hold out for a minute or two before it snaps you back to the present. So you've got limited amount of time to actually wander around physically in the past of this post-apocalyptic Earth world and puzzle solve your way through things that happened in the past to affect your current present day to be able to get through. And it's really clever, and I like the hook. It's a neat idea. I probably put a solid hour and a half to 2 hours into it and really enjoyed it. I say that it's got that in-between platformer thing too, because it's got moments that aren't puzzle-centric so much as almost kind of actiony. Like there's a scene right up front where there's a whole fucking monster trying to come and get, trying to come and eat you, and you're running away, and it's got its own little mini escape sequence, but it's also kind of puzzly to work out the escape sequence too. But I really like it. It's really neat. It's really clever. I like the mechanic. The whole, lantern to the past thing was totally doing it for me. So I had a good time, but I'm gonna open the floor and see if there's anything y'all want to know that I missed here.
Not really.
Okay.
Just seems like a really interesting game, though.
It is. It's rock solid.
Like the way you're describing it, your way you're describing it is something like I would buy physically, Like I would wait. Like it seems like a really interesting game. That we could get into like pretty hard.
Right. I would totally get like a collector's edition from LRG that had the time lamp in it. That would be boss if I could have that.
Yeah, it's like like a Green Lantern,
Right. Is there a lantern corps that specialized in time manipulation?
Not that I remember, but
God damn it, where's Todd when we need him?
I know I wasn't that into the whole idea. So
right. So, but no, rock solid. I would definitely play this for $1, and Chad Kroger can go suck it while I have a good time with the Great Perhaps.
Why not? Yeah,
that's right. So I do believe that brings us to the end of another fantastically good time here at the Dollar Store with I'd Play That for $1. Want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in and joined us this week. Thank you to my friends and family, Zoe and Josh the LeGroux, for coming and hanging out this week and telling us about some awesome games that we can play for $1. And we'll be back next week here on I'd Play That for $1, powered by the World 1-1 Podcast Network. Press start to engage your mind. Peace.